A Tale of Two Cities, by Charles Dickens, is a captivating historical novel set against the backdrop of the French Revolution. The story unfolds in 3 books, and in this video, we will provide a synopsis of Book 3. However, Sidney Carton, who has arrived secretly at Paris, decided to help Charles out. When Dr. Manet's influence failed, he used his influence on Bursard, the prisoner's guard. Having come across Bursard, the earlier English spy, he followed him and realized that he had become a revolutionary after being a spy of the French government. His connections with another fellow spy, Seeley, who had feigned to be dead, are also used by him. He threatened to expose him to the revolutionaries if he did not listen to him. Bursard, knowing that he was caught in his own net and that a single word by Sidney would result in his death, promised to help him as long as he did not ask him to help a prisoner escape. Sidney agreed as he had noble plans up his sleeve. Sidney was further helped by fate as he overheard the Defarges discussing that Lucy and her daughter should also be executed as they belonged to the Evemond family. Thus, equipped with facts, he decided to execute his plans as fast as he could. He too told Jarvis Lorry to book tickets to England, for all of them, for the next day. He asked him to tell Lucy and the doctor to leave before Charles's execution. Lucy should be compelled to leave on the pretext that it was Charles's last wish. He instructed Jarvis to leave that moment and join them at 2 o'clock the following day. Thus he entered the prison with Bursard's help. He exchanged clothes with Charles, impersonated him, used chloroform on him and asked Bursard to take the unconscious Charles to Jarvis Lorry. Mr. Lorry received him and the entire family was taken to London. Under his supervision, Darnay passed off as Sidney Carton and they were allowed to leave Paris for England. Meanwhile, Madame Defarge decided to visit Lucy so that she could see her in all her misery. Miss Pross, who was supposed to be leaving later, met her and refused to let her meet Lucy. After a violent struggle, Madame Defarge was shot in an attempt to kill Miss Pross. Madame Defarge was killed by her own pistol. She lay dead while her friends waited for her at Charles's spectacular execution. Sidney Carton was guillotined as the 23rd prisoner. Before his execution, he gave moral support to an innocent lady seamstress who too was being executed to death. Though she realized that Sidney was not Charles, she appreciated his sacrifice for Charles and was touched to the core. Thus, Sidney redeemed his promise to Lucy that he would even sacrifice his life for her. He stood for the triumph of love over hatred. Thus, he became a Christ figure, who sacrificed his life and was resurrected for others. Many onlookers said that he looked sublime, peaceful and prophetic in death. The last few paragraphs of the novel are prophetic and lyrical as they tell us the rest of the story through Sidney's vision of the future, before his death.